Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 50, which is typically called nurturing or values. Okay, so we've got the sun in gate 50. It started October 19th, Saturday, and it goes until October 24th. And we've got the earth in gate 3, which is typically called trouble or difficulty at the beginning. So this gate 50 is all about nurturing. It comes off the spleen. It's right down here. It's coming, yeah, it comes off the spleen. And we've also got the 44 coming off the spleen, which is in uh, Mercury. So the 50 is just as I said, it's about nurturing, it's about values. I'll talk about that more in a minute, but it's a very empathetic kind of almost huggy kind of energy, just taking care of people and wanting to make sure that everybody in your community, in your family, in your work organization, everybody around you is taken care of, right? And sometimes that can be the fear side of this is overwhelming, actually, because sometimes that can be overwhelming, right? To handle, especially if you've got kids or animals or parents to take care of or things like that. Juggling all those responsibilities can be overwhelming. And with the gate 50, especially being in the transits this week, but also might, very well be in your chart. It's in my chart. It can feel overwhelming sometimes to take care of everything, right? It's that kind of energy. We've also got the 3, which connects up with the 60. 3 is trouble at the beginning, and 60 is about increase, or well, it's actually called decrease. I think of it as growth and evolution because you're down at the bottom and you need to go somewhere, right? The 3 is down there and it connects with the 60, and so that gives us the entire channel all week, and that defines both the sacral and the root center. And then up here, we still got this going on with the ajna and the throat. The 1762, the channel of acceptance, is also defined this week. And that's the first 3 days. Then when we move into a little later in the week, starting Tuesday, October 22nd, we also add in the G center. So the G center will be defined by the channel of inspiration, one, which is the 1-8. And that's because the 8 is moving into, well, the 1 is moving into Mercury and the 8 is already in Uranus. And that'll be there for a while, actually another month or two. So we've got actually a lot of energy this week, right? With the ajna, the throat, the G center, the sacral, and the root. That's 5 centers, right? That are going to be defined for most people by the end of the week. And so just, be aware and be mindful. You might notice some of these energies actually coming into play in your own energy. Meanwhile, the retrograde planets are still Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, as well as the nodes. The nodes are still going back and forth. And as I mentioned last week, Pluto has gone direct, and it is in Aquarius. So it just made a little bit of a bounce back and forth, but it's now rooted in gone direct in Aquarius. So we got the sun in gate 50 and the earth in gate 3. And this gate 50 is called the cauldron or values. And what they mean by the cauldron is that if you think of that old kind of, uh, the view that comes to mind is of a witch's cauldron, or some kind of a big cauldron in the middle of a community where they're heating up stuff over the fire. The cauldron is the values of the community. That's the way the I Ching thinks of it. So it's the values of the community all in this pot or stew of things that keep the community going, like staying together, right? Loyalty and bringing the kids up and taking care of the family and making sure that everybody's taken care of. Everyone's nurtured. Everyone has what they need. And it means the real needs, right? The food and the shelter and the clothing that go with bringing children up and taking care of whoever you have to take care of, right? And it was especially um, you know, prominent, right, over the last few weeks when we've had a lot of natural disasters going on. There were so fires in Wyoming and mudslides in North Carolina, and the hurricane that occurred in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, even completely unexpected. And so and then of course all the devastation in Florida as well. So there's a lot going on and there's a lot of need out there. And so it can feel overwhelming sometimes to wonder, okay, so who should I help, or when should I help them, and how should I help them, and how much do I help them, or how much do I give, and how much do I, you know, uh, give of myself, right? Give of myself, give of my resources. All of those questions come into play when things like that happen, but also when the transits are in the gate 50, it's going to come up for you a lot this week. I can guarantee it. Uh, Um, the description they give in the human design book is this is the value of historical continuity whose traditional values serve and enrich the present and the future. So basically you're helping people in the present so that they can have a good future, right? And this is what we're doing for ourselves, for our family, for our friends, for our community, for anybody who needs that help. And that historical continuity makes a big difference, right? It's the kind of stuff where not every community is has come together, let's put it that way, right? That there are some communities that have come together and there are some others that may not have come together as easily. And so, and then there are some, rumors and things out there that people are listening to that they wouldn't necessarily listen to if they really felt like they had a sense of community, right? I mean, if you know that you can depend on your neighbor and you know that you have ways of getting help to come in and you'll be okay, then there's the fear goes away, right? You don't need to be in a fearful state. That's obviously going to happen from time to time, but it doesn't have to be a constant state. And, helping people in that situation is really a good thing too, because, you can either be in fear or action, and you can't be in both. And so I just always prefer the action, right? Doing something, making some contribution or doing something to help people will always take you out of fear. So whether it's you or your neighbors, help them out of fear by taking action. The intercarnation crosses this week are the crosses of love, values, and wishes. They're really strong crosses, I'll say. They're these the people who are born in these crosses, because I know a bunch of them, are really solid people, right? They're really good, solid, nurturing people, and the kind of people we depend on. In quantum human design, it's called nurturing. And then the gate 3 is difficulty at the beginning. And this is, it's a funny one to go with the 50, but it totally makes sense. I've seen it too many times in action. I don't personally have it, but I know people who do have it. And so it's this, always like a little bump, a little, hiccup, a little, bump in the road as they start a new project. And also called ordering in the original I Ching. But it's the fundamental challenge of initiation is to transcend confusion and establish order, right? So you're starting a new project, something goes wrong, something happens, something needs to be fixed, and you come up with a way to do that because it's the beginning of the project and you have to get through it. Otherwise, the whole project's going to fall apart, right? And so it's finding a way, it's having that it's off the sacral, remember? So it's about having that sacral energy, that kind of inner knowing that you can get through this, that there's a reason for it, that you want to trust your gut. Ask yourself the question, is this something I really want to do? Because that's why the difficulty shows up. It's a chance for you to ask yourself, is this really something I want to do? And then you recommit to it, right? And that's where you're able to transcend the confusion and establish order because you recommit to it and you come up with the idea of how to fix this problem and it gets fixed. And then it's smooth sailing after that. And it's really kind of fun to see in action, but it happens all the time. And I'm sure you can think of times when it's happened to you or to colleagues. And in quantum human design, we call this the gate of innovation because it is, right? You're coming up with something new and innovative that's going to solve this problem at the beginning of a project that you've never had to do before. And so it's innovation for you, for others, and it serves a purpose in the world. So I hope that helps this week. I hope you have a great week. Be aware of the impulse to nurture, perhaps to give, perhaps to donate, perhaps to, cook or clean or donate some clothing that you might have around or things like that. Don't go overboard. It can be a really big pull during this week. So I just putting it out there, just say, do what you can, do what you want to, don't go overboard. So have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.